Hey everybody, Spracketech248 here, and got a bit of a noops. Ran out of memory on one of the portions of the video, so I went ahead and done the rest of that connector and that bank off camera. So we'll go ahead and I'm gonna tip down, and so I'll show you what I've done here as soon as I get in point. And so all the cable, all the wires here are all hooked up onto this connector, and as you can see, it's all 25 pin. So the 25 pin sub D connector. So all 25 are in there now, and it's all. This bank is now done. What I did not show you is, let me move the panel out of the way, is me wiring the actual connector. So I'm going to do that in this video series. So in part 2 here, and once I get this connector done here, I'll start wiring it to the Hellfire. The bank I'm going to be working on is not 25. It's actually 30 pins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bridge 5 more channels on here to get the length at least, and then I'll just let me think here. That way I can get the length, and when I put the actual connector, it's going to handle all 30 pins, which I do have. Let's see, is it up here? I did have it up here. Where did it go? Huh. I must have buried it somewhere. Okay. Oh, anyways, I'll show it later in the video. Later in the video, when I take a break or something like that. So, gonna pin all 25. We're gonna start with pin 1, of course, and then we'll pull each wire. This tool here is great to have. This is a handy hand tool. It's really great. It has a magnifying lens. Has a spot for your soldering iron. Another deal I just built today. Yeah. I need to get my pan tilt head on here, my motorized one. So this is an air rig I just built, and that holds all my spools nice and organized. I have a spring here to underneath here to where I can adjust the tension on these reels. So that's the purpose of the spring. That's just to give these tension so they don't flop all over the place and make a big mess. So so that's what the nutshell is. And then of course the screw allows me to hold my Teflon tubing. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to mount this on the handyman, and I'm going to get it to a position to where I can work with it. Sometimes these things like the tendency to fall over, so just heads up, it will do that. You're just going to have to bear with it. There's the old piece of aluminum solder iron holder. I don't really use them. They're more of a nuisance than anything. Alright, so the first thing I gotta do is I gotta locate the pin 1. Alright, here's pin 1. So this is pin 1. And I'll go 1 through 13. So once I get the first 10, I'll have to stop and then do 13 and then the rest of them. But before I do that, I gotta throw it back in the cabinet and then work with that. So that's what I have to do. So let's go ahead and get this locked in. Like I said, these are really nice to have. You can pick these up at most hardware stores. You can find them online. They're really handy to have. Be just trying to hold it in your hand. it does the holding for you. Okay, I'm gonna get myself right above it. Let's see. Let's see if I can get the camera over. See how much light can I get over there. And we're gonna do spot rigging. Let's see if I can land the camera between that rig. Alright. And you can't see through the lens. See. Ooh, that's hot. My iron is at a whopping 750 degrees. So, let's see if I can do that. You know what? I'm going to take the lens off. Alright, I'm just going to take my magnifying lens. I'm going to use that rig I have in the other video, which for some reason glitched, so I wasn't able to get that video on. This is another tool I like using. This is a visor, magnifying visor. Jewelers that do a lot of jewelry making use these. So let me thump my headset a little bit. Gonna be a little rowdy. Okay. And I gotta take my glasses off because these don't work too well with my glasses. So I'm gonna adjust this up a little bit higher. Next project for this is I'm gonna mount this on a more wider base because it does have a tendency to be flopsy mopsy and stuff like that. Let's see, can you go up higher? Okay. Alright. Alright, so got my tools here. Alrighty. So this is that Teflon tubing that I use for shielding the connections and stuff like that. Ooh, I lost it. Channel A. Hold on, I'm gonna pause for a second so I can get my channel A back. Control panel, and then I'll start stretching the wires to their pins. So as soon as I get that done, I'll explain what the button positions again are, and then flip it back over, and I'll start soldering the wires to the buttons. And now, right after that, I get that done, then we'll get the first batch done. Then I'll go through and do the last pins 11 to 13. Flip the connector over. I'm going to work backwards. So basically, I'll undo it like this. And I'll flip it over here. And then we'll start with this side, which is pin 25, and work backwards into the connector. So I always work from left to right with my connectors, no matter what type of connectors they are, unless I'm actually inserting the pins. These are solder lug, so I have to work from left to right because I'm a right-hand solderer. So, alright, so you can see, got a spaghetti list of wires here. So there's 10 different colors right there. They do make striped wire, but most places locally don't carry that. And so it's kind of hard to find. I do have a source for it, but I'm not going to use that for the internal workings of the Hellfire panel. And that way it can be a lot easier to work with. It looks like Ghostbusters or something like that. So, yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'll shut off the camera, and then I'll reposition everything, and then I'll be right back. And then I'll start rigging the connector to the back of the panel. because each one of these connectors has a different position, and it's actually going to be longer than the first one. And then when I get to banks 3 and 4, those are going to go a different direction. So that's a whole different game plan and how that's going to be rigged. So, but I am doing it sound what we call in the industry switchboard correct and soundboard correct. So if you're sitting in front of the soundboard, channel one would be here, channel whatever would be over here. Well, when you go in the back of the board, channel one will be on your right, and the last channel will be on your left. That's board correct. And it's like that with video switchers too. So it just makes it easier to follow what your channels are. It's been like that for many, 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 many years. Unless you're working in an OBT truck and everything's all, and someone catwampuses it and it's all burnt up. So, alright, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the camera and I'm going to reconfigure, and then we'll get back onto the other part of this. So this is wiring part 2. So again, ran out of memory last night, so that's why I had to finish it up off camera. So I'm going to hit the stop button here, and then we'll go to reconfigure, and then we'll start filming again. Okay, we'll see you in a moment. Okay, you remember about making mistakes? I just did that. I cut the wrong channel. I cut 9 instead of 8. So gray is 8, white is 9. So gonna oops, but that's why I cut the wires a little bit longer, so I can easily correct that mistake. So this is a perfect example by overcutting your wire. So, alright, so I'm gonna have to go to the right wire and make that jump. So back to time lapse. Okay, hold on, let me put the, what you're hearing is me, tightening the, cable, um, on the, headphones, and, alright, so I've got my first 10 done. I'll de-alligator clip the connector inside here. Uh, yeah. So this is where the connector is mounted. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to declip this. And I'm going to stretch it out. And then I'm going to flip it over. And then I'm going to start from pin 25 and work my way backwards on this connector. So 25 on down to back down to 14. And then once I get those done, I'll start on this side of the board. Oops, almost knocked the camera down. Let me see if I can zoom in. Be advised, this thing is not an optic zoom. It's one of those digital zooms. So I'll start here, and this will be pin 30, but I'll go backwards 5. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll start at this connector and work back this way. And let's see, yeah, that's right. And then once I get that done, and then we'll go and reach from each one of these connectors buttons and just stretch them out. And since I'm not going to terminate it, that I'll have enough wire here to reference the length, and then I can easily I can easily make those cuts and won't worry about having to be offset. And again, all I have to do is just measure to the connector, and then come up with 3 points off of that, and that'll give me the scale. So then I've got these 2 banks next. This bank here was actually wired once upon a time. I've got this button I got to replace because it went bad. I overheated it when I was soldering it. It was bad to begin with. It was one of the unlucky buttons, I guess. So I've got more of these already on order, and then so that I also got some more LED holders. Apparently, I didn't order enough, so I got some more LED holders that will accommodate the LEDs. And then I've got another group right underneath here that's going to get soldered, so I'll have to remove this board and put this board back on so I can keep the 2 panels together. And then I'll wire that last group. So, yeah, that's basically what's going to happen. In this case, this is going to be a little difficult because I don't have all these drilled out, so I will have to drill these out before I start on these last 2 banks, and then go from there. I mean, I can measure with this magnet wire. That's what this is. This is magnet wire here. I don't know if you can see it too well. Kind of. So this is really great for bridging, making bridges and stuff like that, especially when you're doing point-to-point connecting, which is common in vacuum tube devices. I built a few vacuum tube amplifiers. Some of them you gotta watch out because they got like 3,000 volts on the drive. Had to make a special device so when you open the panel up, it shorts out the capacitors. Even if it's been turned on and unplugged, those caps still charge up. It's just scary. It won't just hurt you. It will kill you. 3,000 volts. And some serious voltage in current. So I'm just tightening up my spools here. And again, I made a mistake. I cut I cut channel 9, Q9 for Q8, and I didn't realize it. That's why I go an extra button or two to so if I do make a mistake like that, I have a way out. I could just reverse it, but then again, when you go and if I had to do a repair, it would throw me off because they're in the wrong sequence. So, so my rig here, um, slide the camera over a little bit. This rig here worked out quite well, and I built this about a few hours ago. It's a simple half-inch PVC pipe, and I left it where I can expand off of it too. So if I want to put in there a tier for different sizes of wire, I can do that, and so I can expand it if I want to. And it actually works out quite well. So I have to tighten the spring a little bit so it has a little bit more tautness on there. Or I have to get some felt between each spool so each spool can rotate easy. Let's see. Yeah, I'll just do that. And just add a little bit more tightness. Definitely need to make some type of rig, some way to where it will hold the slack down because they are slacking out. So, anyways, I accidentally drilled some additional holes. I thought everybody was going to be lined up, but that's okay. That's one thing about plastic. You can get away with it. Alright, so, Pyro Fanaticals. Alright. I'm going to push these wires out of the way. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Alright, so I'm going to get behind here. So, this is what I did. Is I used the alligator clips and a couple screws to hold it in. I'll have a better way to hold that in once I get to a more permanent system. I have a connector I'm actually going to use. It's 38 pins. Those are on their way. I'm just doing this to just in case I end up getting a gig and I have the system available. So, and it won't be hard for me to wire it up to do an event. Ready. All right, so now I got my length of the connector. This is the fun part. This is where I got to turn around and figure out what I'm going to do next. Okay. Alright, I got room to move that over. Okay. So there's one fully done, and here's one that's partially done. So you can see the difference. Let's see. Is it the right side? Oh, I'm being dyslexic. That's what we need in the White House. We need a dyslexic in the White House. Maybe the country will move forward. So, you can see the difference. So, I actually have 4 of these sub Ds, so this will allow me to wire everything, get everything going. Alrighty, so let's see. Let's move the camera over this way. No, you don't want to fall over. Oh, that's what's happening. Let's see if I can sneak a leg back. There we go. Okay. Alright, so I can do two things. I can scoop myself down. Move the camera like so. This is where the action's going to be at, anyhow. Let's see. Yeah, I can tell there's one leg shorter than the other. Alright, I'm going to point the camera at me until I can find a leg that's going to be level. That's better. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to flip this over. And I'm going to grab the magnifying lens and make sure I'm on the right. Sometimes I forget where 25 is. Okay, yeah. Okay. Now we'll put this in the handy holder. This bar needs to be a little bit longer. It needs to be about that longer, and the clips need to be able to slide in and out. This is a cheapie. There's some really good ones that can do just that. I shouldn't have sold mine, but sometimes you gotta think of what's best. Something that's going to benefit you. It's going to benefit the person that's going to buy it off you. Or go hungry. One of the two. Alright. So, I'm going to start with over here on my rack. This is why I wish I had I have a deal that actually does this for me. So I'm going to start right here. Green. Green 5, yellow 4, orange 3, red 2, and finally brown is 1. So, and that's where we're going to start. Right here. So, green. That's. Sorry about that, everybody. So, can you even see that? I can't even see that. Let's get right on top of the action here. So yeah, it's going to be green, yellow, orange, red, brown, and then I'll start from black, white, gray, violet, blue, and then after that I'll trim those wires, and then I'll do the last 3 on the other side, and then this bank will be done. So let's get started. Get my fancy Teflon tubing. I gotta find a source for this stuff. This actually comes in multiple colors, more than 10 colors. I think it was like 20 colors of this stuff. And again, I'm gonna use that. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab green. Yeah, I think I need to need to get some felt. Like little felt rings. I'll have to figure out how to cut in a half-inch hole. So I'm kind of doing this off camera. And we got a train coming in. I think I'm about 2.5 miles from the tracks. So if you hear it in the background, that's the. What's funny about train horns is they're guaranteed to be heard 4 miles or greater. Unless you got a car that's like totally soundproof and you're just rocking out and being an idiot and getting in front of that train. People do. Okay. I'm getting all tangled up here. Ow. That's hot. What's neat about this iron though is I've got LEDs on it. I've got light on it. It's kind of cool. It's really cool. I almost knocked my glass of soda over. I'm drinking root beer. I won't say brand. Apparently they frown on that. When you talk about brands. Out here in YouTube land. Why? It's free advertisement. Gee, Whittakers. Alright. Can't play music on YouTube. You can do karaoke on YouTube. I guess that's called a parody. So working in the industry, anything that's not using original content is fair game. People have been using music to their weddings and stuff like that. I guess somebody cried foul. I still got some colleagues in the industry. I ought to find that out. Oh no. Come on. Alright. This one's not going to slide. You gotta be kidding. Anybody got a train to catch?
That's not Amtrak.
I know it's freight. Jeez, I'm trying to be a comic here. Tough crowd.
Where's my pills?
They're sitting over there on the chair, sweetie. They're sitting on the chair. My mic is active. Okay, here comes Orange. Yeah, definitely need to get some felt and put in between these rails because they're doggling all the rails. That's a quick fix. All right, so you get to kind of get the drift. I'm gonna disconnect my mic, and then we'll go do some time lapse. And then, since I get this threaded so I don't lose it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go time lapse, and I'll see you on the other side. And as soon as I get this unthreaded, so all right, I'll see you after time lapse. Okay, everybody. Well, I'm done with that. Hold on, I'm gonna make some strange noise with my headphones. Okay. Yeah, I'm a little. I have to reach really far, uh, with my uh, goggles just too damn loose. So, anyways, I have to reach way over there to my soundboard. So that's almost like completely in 180. Well, it's well over 45 degrees to reach with the camera. Um, so, um, so I got this far, and now I'm gonna stretch, and then I gotta back spool these because they forward spool as I was pulling the um, wires through. So I'm gonna stretch this out as best as I can, where it's somewhat taut, and then I'll go through and chop each wire. Now, again, I am working backwards of the connector. So this is pin 25, and I'm working backwards on this side until I get to the end of the group. And then when I get done with that, I gotta go back on, tilt down back on this side to do the last three on this side. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break and move around a little bit because I've been according to this timeline, 48 minutes. So I'm gonna take a little break and then I'll start working on the next phase of this. I'll see you after the break. All right, everybody, I'm back from a long break, and glad I did take a break. I was almost out of memory again. Okay, so I was talking about the connector um, um, in the previous part of the video. So, anyways, this is the type of connector I'm using. This is a 56 pin. Um, Somebody's like, well, why'd you use a 56 instead of a 38? Well, 38's about that much smaller. So, uh, anyways, these connectors are an EDAC connector. These are really popular in the audio video industry, primarily in the audio, for soundboard connections and link cords. I've got a project coming up here in a short to use this particular connector. So I actually have a few of these floating around because I bought a big bank of them, and of course I didn't buy enough pins. Yeah. Oh well. So, anyways, back to this part of the project. So I did some pre work on here, so I'm gonna go ahead and tilt the camera down. I'm gonna do two-hand job here because I don't have a video monitor hooked up to my camera. So what I did is I round a piece of thick solder around this to kind of make a temporary loon with this wire, and to keep it nice and straight. So, and then of course right here I'm gonna start soldering the the wires to the buttons. And again, I'm working backwards on that, so I'm gonna slide the camera around a little bit, and I gotta move my lamp a little bit too. So I'm gonna. It's a choreographed video dance. Let's go with that route. Yeah, let's tilt my light up a little bit. This thing does not tilt too well. So let's see, where am I at? Am I in frame now? All right. Let's see, I'm gonna have to tilt the panda tripod as well. Okay. So, all right. So let's get on with this here. So again, I'm working backwards from 5 all the way back down to where's the last color here? Uh, oh boy, I forgot my notes. Okay, 5 down to down to 6. And so I'll hit 5, and I'll hit black, which is 10, which is number 10. Then white is 9, gray is 8, and then violet's 7, and blue is 6. And then I'll go back to the connector and solder and redo the last of those lines, and then the last three on the 11, 10, 11, 12, and 13 on the front side of the connector. So, and so now again, because I'm just soldering to the buttons, I am not using my Teflon tubing because I don't really need that. And it's such a wide area, it's not really needed. So, um, I am very short on wire on my solder iron. Will I be able to reach? Ooh. Alright, I gotta make some adjustments. Live adjustments. Alright. Scoot me over here. Scoot equipment over here. Thought I had the shot all lined up. Not. We're now relining the shot. Take 2. Alright, I'm being a comic. Oh well, who cares? I don't mind. I don't mind being a goofball. My lovely wife loves me for that. It's one of the reasons why she married me. Everybody say ah. Alright, I'm going to do this, my little solder trick. Second, give me enough wire. Yeah, give me enough. Should. Alright. I think I'm going to have to take my... Alright. This solder iron is really nice having the LEDs on it. Alright, so there's 25. It's going to say, let me see if you can hold on to me long enough before I can solidify. Take 1. Alright. Oh. Gotta do a cable swap around here. Hopefully I don't hit wires. That'd be very bad. 120 volts likes to put out a big ball of spark. So for that one amplifier I build. Okay. Alright, so that's number 25. Now we gotta go to number 24. Now I am counting backwards here, and there's a reason for that. Is because the positioning of the connector. Now if I was pinning the connectors, actually putting the wire onto the connector, the pins of the connector, then that would be different because then I can just insert the pin into the connector, and then I can just go that route. These are solder lugs, so they're a little different. Alright. Now the reason I strand the solder or spin the solder around the wire is it actually gives me, I don't have a tinning pot, and I'm going to get one. I definitely want to get one. See if I can find a nice 100-watt tinning pot. That's all I need for what I'm doing here. Okay. Alright, so that's number 24. Grab orange, which is going to be 23. And again, what I'm doing is, because I'm stretching the wire out, and then what I'm doing is I'm coming back 3 buttons, like I was doing with the installation forward of the project. And that way I have that extra room. Now, earlier in the video, I made a mistake. And that's one of the reasons why I do that, just in case that happens. So, alright. I'm waiting for supplies to come in, more supplies come in, because I'm out of supplies for other stuff. And one of the big things I'm going to be doing also in this video series is I'm going to build my rails and slats. I got 5 different project boxes I'm going to prototype with too. So various wire diagrams. And also in between some of the videos, I'll set up a dry board and explain what goes on here. And that way you have a little understanding logistically what goes on. So I just chopped my solder in half. Okay. All right, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna unscrew my headphone cable here. I'll give you an example of what I do. So right here is my headphone wire. Again, my soundboard's way behind the camera, and I'm not gonna reach over everything and hit. Have to take the fader and rotate it all the way counterclockwise to turn off the mic. And oh boy, lost the channel again. And so what I do is this, and there's a little thumb screw here, and I just undo that. So, and okay, so that's free. That's the thumb screw. So, all right, we're gonna do a little time lapse, and I'll see you on the other side. Catch you later.